I joined the company about 12 plus years ago. I came from the Arm & Hammer Baking Soda Company. I actually lived on the set from the Roadrunner and Coyote show, a little desert town out in western Wyoming at the time. But I actually received a phone call from a recruiter, and she asked me how I'd feel about working for Herman Miller. And if I can be completely honest, at the time, it wasn't really part of my awareness. It kind of rang a bell, and then she mentioned one of Max Dupree's books. And I remember at the time thinking, yes, I remember reading that book, and I remember thinking, interesting book, really cool philosophies. It doesn't sound like this guy's ever really spent any time on a plant floor, because that's just not what it's like on a plant floor. So in many respects, I actually came here more out of curiosity than anything else for the interview. The recruiter spent several hours kind of screening me, and that kind of intrigued me. Normally, recruiters just kind of do a paper shuffle, and then they get any warm body they can in front of the hiring company. This person took an awful lot of time asking me a lot of very focused questions about my values, my beliefs, my work history. That coupled with what I'd read in one of Max's books just made me curious who this Herman Miller was. And when I came here, I had many, many interviews, and probably more than any of the interviews that I had that were organized, it was a chance meeting with an hourly employee out on the plant floor. I was touring Zeeland, Maine site with one of our HR consultants, and he was kind of bringing me through on an interview tour. And about halfway through the tour, somebody stopped him for a second and asked if they could pull him aside for a few minutes. And while they did, I was standing there in my little dress for success suit, and this fellow walks up to me and he says, well, either you're a customer or you're interviewing. And I kind of chuckled and said, yeah, I'm interviewing. He said, well, let me tell you what I do here. And he spent about the next 5 minutes, if that, just kind of walking me through what goes on the line that he works on. And he talked about the fact that this is what they make in this line. And in the last 6 months, they've actually reduced the amount of inventory that they have in the area. And that's a really good thing because it contributes to their EVA bonus, and it's really good from an environmental perspective, and it eliminates waste, and that gives them more floor space so they can bring in new products, and that's good for the growth of the company, et cetera, et cetera. It was really a very information-filled 5-minute conversation. About at that point, the HR consultant came back, said, hey, sorry about that, Tony, let's keep going. And I thanked this fellow and walked along. And I said, so this guy that I was just talking to, is he the manager in the area? And he said, no. I said, so an engineer? And he goes, no. I said, well, what's he do? He said, he works on the line. And when he said that, kind of the lights went off. And suddenly it occurred to me, this is not your average normal company. When you can walk up to a plant employee on the floor who understands how they fit into the big picture, how the things they're doing contributes to a better environment and a better economy and better quality for the customers and a better workplace, there's something very, very different about this company. And if the truth be told, that little 5-minute chance meeting probably had more to do with my decision to come to work at Herman Miller than anything else that occurred. And I had some very impressive interviews with some fantastic folks, but it was the 5 minutes that I spent with that fella on the plant floor. I love my job. Because I work for a company that does things, that does the right things, and I think by and large does them in the right way. We make some mistakes. I make many mistakes. This is a company where I can, and I think people are generally forgiving of that if everybody's kind of pulling for the same thing. Probably most importantly because I believe in what we're doing here. I think that we are creating a good work environment for employees. We're creating good work environment for other people's employees, good healing environments. I believe that we do business in ways that I'm proud to tell people that I work for Herman Miller, and I'm proud to tell people about the decisions that we make here. And when I read about things in newspapers that other companies are doing and you kind of want to wince, I don't have to worry about typically Herman Miller doing something like that because I believe this is a company that does the right things. And that's something that a lot of folks can't say.